Frank, I want you to imagine something for a second. You are 28 years old, you just bought your very first house, you unlock the front door, and instead of popping champagne, you are sitting on the floor having a panic attack so severe you need doctor-prescribed medication just to fall asleep.
Well, that sounds like a Tuesday during tax season. What happened? Did the foundation split in half, or did he accidentally buy a house built over an ancient burial ground?
Worse, I was listening to this caller named Michael on the Ramsey Show the other day, and he was literally begging to sell his new home, take a massive financial hit, and run back to renting an apartment, all because of phantom mold.
Phantom mold? Wait, like actual toxic black mold, or the kind of mold you find on the block of cheddar we forgot in the back of the fridge for 3 weeks?
Well, apparently there was some actual mold in the basement. But here is the kicker, Frank. When Dr. John Deloney asked him the one question every single homebuyer needs to hear, the answer made my soul leave my body. He asked, "Did you have the house inspected?" And Michael goes, "No, no inspection."
Oh, sweet mercy. No inspection on a $270,000 piece of real estate? Lynn, you inspect a used Toyota with 100,000 miles on it before you hand over $3,000. You don't just eyeball a house and say, "Yup, looks sturdy, here's my entire life's credit score."
Right? But honestly, I kind of understand the mindset. In this crazy housing market, first-time buyers get so desperate to win a bid, or they want to save $500 on the closing costs, so they just waive the inspection. It's like jumping out of an airplane and hoping you can knit a parachute on the way down.
Yeah, except when you hit the ground has unpaid property taxes and a cracked sewer line. But look, here's where the story gets even wilder.
Go on, because it gets bizarre.
The seller, by some miraculous, once-in-a-lifetime stroke of divine intervention, actually agreed to pay for the entire basement remediation out of their own pocket. The mold in the basement was completely cleaned up, paid in full, $0 out of Michael's pocket.
Which almost never happens in the history of North American real estate. Once the paperwork is signed, most sellers will change their phone numbers and move to Idaho.
Exactly. He literally won the homebuyer lottery, but instead of breathing a sigh of relief, Michael's sitting in the dark, convinced the mold has crawled behind every single sheet of drywall in the living room. He told the hosts his throat feels scratchy 24/7.
Because once the panic train leaves the station, you don't hear logic anymore. Every little creak in the floorboard sounds like structural collapse. But Frank, do you really think this 28-year-old is losing his mind over drywall, or is there a much darker financial monster hiding in his bank account?
Oh, it is never about the drywall, Lynn. It is never about the mold. But before we rip open his bank account and perform a full financial autopsy, let's be completely honest with our audience for a second. We know that exact brand of late-night, staring-at-the-ceiling panic, don't we?
Are you seriously about to bring up our first house? Because I promised myself I would take that story to my grave.
Look, if we're going to roast this poor 28-year-old on the internet, we have to admit our own sins first. Tell them about the $400 inspection.
Okay, fine. When we bought our very first place, Frank decided that paying $400 for a certified home inspector was, and I quote, a predatory scam designed to fleece naive millennials.
Hey, in my defense, I had a heavy-duty flashlight, a $12 level from Home Depot, and an ungodly amount of unearned male confidence.
Right, and you crawled into the attic for 10 minutes, came down covered in fiberglass insulation, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "Solid as a rock, honey." And what happened 3 weeks later?
The master bathroom drain wasn't connected to the main stack. It was literally draining into a 5-gallon bucket in the crawl space.
We were running a private indoor swamp. But you know what's funny? Even after we fixed it, I spent the next 6 months convinced we were inhaling airborne toxins. Every time I had a mild sneeze or a scratchy throat, I was on WebMD at 2 in the morning reading about rare black mold poisoning. That homeowner paranoia is real.
It is totally real. When you rent an apartment, if the water heater explodes, you send an angry text to the landlord and go back to eating your cereal. But the minute you sign a 30-year mortgage, every single sound your house makes sounds like a $3,000 invoice arriving in the mail.
Exactly. Your brain turns every creak into a disaster. But here is the difference between normal buyer jitters and what Michael is going through. When we had our plumbing disaster, we had emergency savings. We were stressed, but we weren't financially drowning. Michael, on the other hand,
Deadpan. Michael walked into this house with zero margin for error. When Dr. Deloney finally started digging into the actual math, the whole picture fell apart. Break it down for us, Frank. When you look under the hood of Michael's finances, why is his subconscious screaming at him to sell the house and run? Because his nervous system isn't reacting to mold, Lynn. His nervous system is reacting to basic arithmetic. Let's look at the balance sheet. He buys this house for $270,000. How much did he put down as a down payment? 2.5%.
2.5% on a conventional purchase? That is, wait, let me do the mental math. That means his actual equity in this house is essentially a rounding error.
Exactly. He got a $15,000 grant to cover the closing costs, put down the absolute bare legal minimum, which means he owns about as much of that house as I own of the moon. And then, look at what else he dragged through the front door. He is carrying $35,000 in student loans.
Okay, but to his credit, Frank, he has no credit card debt and both of his cars are completely paid off.
Great. 2 gold stars for not buying a jet ski on an 8-year loan. But how much cash does he have sitting in the bank to protect himself against a catastrophic home repair?
$8,000.
$8,000, Lynn. $8,000 is not an emergency fund for a homeowner. That is one slightly aggressive air conditioner failure in the middle of July. One roof leak, one plumbing issue, and that $8,000 evaporates in 48 hours.
And that is the root of the panic attack. When you have $35,000 hanging over your head in student loans, and you only have $8,000 between you and absolute financial insolvency, your body knows you are standing on a trapdoor.
Right. He violated the golden rule of homeownership, the order of operations. You don't buy a house when you are still in debt and sitting on a paper-thin cash cushion. Your home is supposed to be a fortress of peace, but because he bought it out of order, it feels like a maximum security prison with a mortgage attached.
But here is the crazy part of the call, Frank. Michael isn't broke. He makes $75,000 a year in tech. And he casually dropped on Dr. Deloney that in 3 weeks, he starts a brand new job making $100,000 a year.
Which completely changes the game. But because he is so overwhelmed by the fear of mold and debt, his immediate gut reaction is to panic sell. He told the hosts, "I just want to sell the house, take the loss, and go back to renting an apartment where I was stress-free."
Oh, God, panic selling within the first 6 months of buying a home? Do you realize how much money he is about to set on fire if he puts a for sale sign in that front yard right now?
Let's do the brutal math, Lynn. If he puts that house on the market tomorrow for $270,000, between the 6% in realtor commissions, state transfer taxes, buyer concessions, and closing fees, he is easily setting $20,000 to $25,000 on fire.
And remember, he only put down 2.5%. He has zero equity to absorb that hit, which means that $25,000 loss doesn't come out of the house. It comes directly out of his own pocket.
Exactly. Panic selling doesn't solve your problems. It just takes a temporary emotional breakdown and turns it into a permanent, catastrophic financial scar. So here is the exact 3-step rescue plan Dr. Deloney and Rachel Cruz laid out, and honestly, it is the only way forward.
Step 1. Kill the phantom with cold, hard data.
Right. Michael needs to stop staring at the ceiling and spend $300 to $400 on a certified environmental air quality test. Have them run swabs in the vents, check the moisture behind the drywall, and get a laboratory report. Fear feeds on the unknown, Lynn. The second you have a certified piece of paper that says your air quality is totally normal, that mysterious scratchy throat in the morning is going to vanish into thin air.
Because 9 times out of 10, that scratchy throat is just pure, unadulterated psychological stress. And what is step 2?
Step 2, use that brand new $100,000 tech salary like a sledgehammer. He is about to make serious money. For the next 9 to 12 months, he needs to live on beans and rice, forget that restaurants exist, and throw every single spare dollar at that $35,000 student loan.
Knock out the $35,000 and then immediately stockpile a $15,000 to $20,000 emergency fund in a high-yield savings account.
And look at what happens to his life once that happens. Suddenly, you have a house with a clean bill of health, 0 student loans, and $20,000 in cash sitting between you and the world. If the water heater explodes next year, you write a check, go to sleep like a baby, and you don't need a single milligram of anti-anxiety meds.
Isn't it amazing how having 20 grand in the bank is the most effective cure for mold poisoning known to medical science?
It works every single time, honey.
Look, if you are a first-time homebuyer sitting on your living room floor right now, having a mild panic attack and wondering if you made the biggest mistake of your life, take a deep breath. Stop catastrophizing, get the actual facts on paper, and stick to the plan.
And for the love of everything, if you haven't bought a house yet, hire a licensed home inspector. Don't be like me with a flashlight and a dream.
Hit that subscribe button before Frank tries to do another DIY plumbing project in our crawl space. Drop your own home buying horror stories in the comments, and we'll see you guys next week on Talk and Wonder.